Hello, hello. We are starting. Hello, hello. We are starting. How's everybody doing tonight? Can you hear me okay? Am I coming through? Is the music too loud? You let me know. I'm here for you. I might turn it a wee bit down in my ears. It's just tiny little skosh, a little bit loud, but that's okay. Here we go. I hope you're doing well. Last week, this time, I should say. We continued in the drawing book, the world that we are creating, and I'm so excited to eventually come up with a name for this. But last week, like a silly little person, I totally forgot to change the settings on my microphone, and so my camera was picking up my voice rather than my actual microphone. So like the whole night I kept leaning over to talk into my microphone, which there served no purpose because it wasn't on. But that's okay. I'm here now, and we are going to get started with this. And I've got a new setup for creating and displaying artwork, and I'm not totally satisfied with it, but hopefully you're going to enjoy what we've got going on tonight. Hopefully the angle is okay. Still figuring things out, but as long as you can see it, we're doing good. So let me put this to the side. Here we go. I see Gaming or What, and then John Graber, the space jockey. Glad that you're here. Hopefully we'll get some more people to join us. But last week, let's just go ahead and get into it. Last week, we continued on with this journey, and hit that like button, by the way. You're in here, I'd appreciate it. But if you remember last week, we started working on the story and finishing off the story for Dacian, the Wayward Pilgrim. And we kind of read through the story. And at the end of the stream, I started to create this story where it's like, I don't think we're going to have time to finish this character. But maybe there's a reason why. And we became immersive in the story of you and I in this world, because this book is meant to be like a field guide, and you and I were in this world and kind of told a story of why I could not finish coloring this character. And I think there was a lot of fun. I had a lot of excellent feedback from many of you that it was a good story, it was a fun time, the picture turned out great, and that it was relaxing. And so that's encouraging. But tonight, I was thinking about, let's just go ahead and turn the page. Fresh page. And for anybody who's new around here, no, I did not distress this book. It came this way. A lot of people asked me that question. A subscriber sent this to me from my Amazon wish list. And they saw the link in the description box, and they ended up getting this for me. And I thought, the best way to fill this book is to give back to the community. And I apologize. My camera, I need to figure out how to turn the auto thing off, because it doesn't like to. There we go. So many of you might recognize this patch that I got for RevKev, and I use it for all my chibis. Hey, it's Mrs. R2. Mrs. 2 the Icky, but anybody who knows, she's Mrs. R2 around these hair parts. But I wanted to get into world building, but I was not quite done with the creature design element just yet. I have this really interesting creature that I'd like to attempt to draw tonight. Another hybrid creature, and you guys, of course, are welcome to help me create this. I'm not sure where to start. I might have to take up this whole thing here. We're going to do a big boy. I don't know why, but all my creatures are guys too. I don't know why. I need to put another book under here. Let's take the good book that the Lord has given to us. Let me take my Bible here and see if I can. By the way, Mrs. R2, I think, where is it? I've got my little Spidey sticker right in there. Think about him from time to time. But anyway, let's see if that will help. Okay. So this creature that, again, you guys are more than willing, I say more than willing, you're more than welcome to help me create this character. And I wanted to be kind of big. So I thought we're just going to kind of go for it. What about a creature that was comprised of a turtle and, well, let me see if you can kind of figure out what this other character, this other creature is. I'm gonna have to do. Yeah, there we go. I haven't quite decided if I really want it to be a predator. You like blues? If I want input, blues. Let me get this to focus a little bit better. Oh, it still does. Might need to get a better camera in the future. You like blues? I don't understand. Like blues as in the color, blues as in the music. Oh my gosh. I might have to keep this thing here. I apologize. Let's see what happens if we keep that there. And then I need my eraser. I love this eraser, Faber-Castell. But yeah, I was like, okay, you like the color. Blues are my favorite as well. Blues and greens. Here we go. I want quite a large creature. So, all right. Well, I guess I'll just go ahead and tell you. But, I want, again, your guys' input. Oh, man. I don't know what is wrong with my camera. I don't know if it's because of the lighting, if that changes things. I don't know if my camera's not high enough. I'm pretty sure this is where I had it last time. It might be because of my hand. I'll have to look into that. Thank you for bearing with me. But anyway, so this creature, I was like, what would happen if we meshed? You can see I've got a big creature going on here. What if we were to mesh a turtle and a sloth? Sometimes it evolves with the drawing, John, honestly. Let's see. His head's a little bit big. Let's see. I would need his arms to be a little bit bigger. I really wanted it to be like this massive sloth-like creature with a turtle or a tortoise shell. Why, you might ask? It's a good question. I wanted him to have like gigantic. I wanted him to be much bigger. I might have to. Let's see. I like the shape of the head, but it's gonna have to be smaller. Let's see. It needs to be like reduced. Here we go. There we go. See if we can just kind of get a gist. I really wanted like hulking shoulders. We can make this a little bit bigger. We're just going to do the gist of it and then see how this unfolds. I don't know. I was thinking today, like I said, I wanted to do... Oh, I forgot to put this back. I wanted to do world building. Hey, it's Miss Martin Muses. Hello, hello. I wanted to start creating landscapes and things like that. But this creature came to mind of what in the world would a turtle and a sloth look like? Like, it just would be really weird and a little bit terrifying, you know? Wouldn't that be kind of horrifying, this kind of creature? And so let's get some hair down here. Again, we'll develop this as we go along. And I'm not totally sure how he's going to look, but I guess he would have to have some kind of a shell. Got some reference pictures here. We're just going to kind of get the gist out. And then he's going to have to be like, let's see, comes down, kind of have like a belly. Let's see here. And try to figure out how this back leg, he'll have a lot of hair on here, but we just kind of got to get the body, you know, if we're, let's see, his back legs, maybe they could be like rabbit legs. Ooh, how horrible would that be? Like, It's slow. It crawls on the ground, but at the same time, it's like got these jackrabbit legs. Like, that'd be horrifying. Hey, it's Emily. Good to see you. How are you? Hope you're having a great week. Guys, I don't know what is up with this camera. Do I need to raise it? So I have a Logitech Brio, and I have noticed, I don't know if that's with every camera, if it's a defect or whatever like that, but unfortunately, if I ever want to mess with the settings of this camera, I have to install the program every single time and then mess with the settings. Like, I can't just turn it on and then like have the settings. Oh man, this is a big guy. A sloth turtle creature. Now, you know the drill if you've been here before. I have to give him some claws here too, I think. Let's see. You know the drill that we try to create this creature, and then, of course, I want your input. Man, his back legs are huge. This is terrible. Tonight might be an exercise in proportion, but you guys know how it is. Like, or maybe his legs should go backwards, kind of like Carl's. Let's try. I need to get a reference photo. Let's see. What do turtle legs look like anyway? Turtle legs. What do they look like? Or maybe I should have typed in tortoise legs specifically. How about... There we go. Tortoise. And let's see what we got. Some very strange looking legs. They kind of sort of look not really backwards, but like out to the side. So they kind of go backwards, kind of get, and they're kind of like these weird, like, goblin feet. Well, we'll not focus too hard on that. Again, this is gonna, it kind of also looking like a frog a little bit. Let's see. All right, we got a big creature here. So some of his body's off the side, but I feel like he'd have like a, I don't know, something like that speaks to me. And then tortoise shells, they come in all kinds of shapes. You know, what's interesting with like tortoise shells, turtle shells and things like that, there is a way that apparently Native Americans back in the day would use turtle shells as calendars. And it's really cool if you look it up how this is possible. It's been a really long time since I did this, but if you look at a turtle shell or a tortoise shell and you count all of the divided areas, the bigger areas, and then you count like that's like the months, and then the thing around, like the smaller divided areas around the edges equals the days. And basically it's like, and I could be wrong here, correct me if anybody knows, but it's really cool. It's almost like I think they have an extra month. I think they have 13 months in their calendar. I say they as if it's everybody in the native and the indigenous groups have the same. I don't know, but predominantly it seemed that the natives there used it as a calendar. And if I'm not mistaken, there were 13 days in the calendar, 13 months in the calendar. And then it was like shorter months though, or something like that. So it still became the equivalent of what we have today by our calendar, which is super de-duper cool. Okay, got a back leg. We're gonna get this shell, and maybe it just kind of curves. It's a little different than a turtle shell, but it's a shell nonetheless. Okay, so obviously shells are made for protection. Now this is a magical world. We remember. Get rid of some of these lines. This is a magical world. So we're open to a lot of possibilities of what this shell is really for. So like I said, you guys feel free to help out. But interesting ideas always come about, and I wonder, what is the shell for besides protection? Right? And that might develop as it goes along. We tend to do that. Trying to make it look, a little less cutesy-utsy, but it's got these I just kind of envisioned, so apparently, according to this documentary I watched long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, apparently there were these sloth-like creatures that lived in the Amazon, right? And they were massive. They were like the size of gorillas. And they eventually became extinct, or according to this theory, they stopped evolving the way that they once were. I don't know. I feel like a dew claw would be really cool, but that would have to be on the other side. So that just kind of was part of the inspiration for this. And it's just like, man, it would be interesting. Like, I was like, okay, then what kind of creature do I couple this together with? What would be really cool? And that's when I was just like, a sloth would be really cool. All right, let's see here. How much fur do I put on its body versus the scaly like surface of and then so we need some claws. If I look at these little turtle legs, let's see. Maybe like little toes. Maybe we redo this. Oh, I like the idea of little toes with the claws coming out. That's pretty cool. Perspective drawing is very difficult for me with the different angles and everything. So we're winging it here. It's pretty cool looking. Pretty cool. And one more for good times. Oh man, this is a massive foot, but I like it. It's kind of muscular too. Whew. Maybe it digs. Maybe that would be a kind of cool thing too. It's like with these giant claws, it not only can hang from the trees, but it can dig as well. And these kind of legs push him into the ground. That seems kind of cool. So maybe he's a little bit more scaly back here than he is furry. I don't know, that seems a little strange, but let's see. All right. But yeah, world building. I think that would be super fun. Getting back into the world of fantasy and whatnot. I've been reading Star Wars, actually. So the original stories, and obviously that's science fiction, I know, but there's, an element of fantasy to it as well, with the Force and all of that. And the best of both worlds. Wonder if you should have any hooks or claws, or not claws, but I think maybe it'd be kind of cool to give him some like tusks. Let's see. Just kind of going along with it. But yeah, reading. Let's see, how would we do this? Reading Star Wars, just kind of giving me, a lot of inspiration, getting back into fantasy and creativity and things like that. I'm going to need a reference photo for tusks too. Yeah, there we go. I see some elephants. Like they just kind of. There's a walrus. Oh, okay. So here's the idea, gang. Do we think that the tusks would be better suited to go forward? Should they be curled? Should they hang down? Should they go back? So many options. What are you guys' input with the creature that we've got so far? Can hang in the ground. Hang in the ground. Can hang in the trees. Can also dig in the dirt. I want to give it some tusks. I want it to be a little bit more of a barbaric looking creature. We'll decide later on if that's really the characteristics of this creature, but it's like the tusks. Should they go forward? Should they go backward? Let's see. Hey there. I'm going to assume that's Dan. Is Dan? Dan from inside the booth where they do movie reviews and they interview cool people. Check them out. Let's see. And then what kind of shaped tusks? I'm going to try going forward a little bit. That just seems like a really generic tusk. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. Maybe they should be shorter, like bulky, short tusks. I know a lot of it's going to just basically need, oh man, here we go again. A lot of it's just going to be needing shading and whatnot, but it still needs to be the right shape. So maybe, what would be the purpose of having tusks that go backwards? Wouldn't seem like it serves a purpose. But we're going to go for it. It is Dan. I knew it. I knew it. I don't know. This is a weird creature. I have no idea if he looks like a sloth or a turtle. Barney the purple dinosaur. We're doing something with it. But again, it always looks different later on. Turtle eyes. Maybe I should look at turtle eyes. They too. It's amazing what some people go through the lengths to like rescue turtles and stuff. I've seen turtles that have like wheels for legs. That seems a little bit strange. Yeah, I mean, who am I to say anything? If people want to take care of their creatures like that, that's fine. But I don't want to be hard-hearted and be like, "Oh, let nature take its course." But at the same time, it's like that's quite the struggle for a. Now, I'm not really digging this face. I need like. It's a little turtlesque, a little more turtlesque. Thinking that it would have a really dark eye. We'll figure all the shadowing and different things later. For sure, it's going to need the. Hey, Rogue, it's Tom. Sorry I was not on your show this evening. I got a little confused in the chat, the message, the group chat. Hope it was a good show, though. Hope it was a good show. We are trying to do a sloth turtle creature here, Tom, and it's going. I think we should put some little hairs on him. There we go. Aw. It's kind of cutesify him up a little bit. Although he looks like he's smiling. He's kind of be supposed. R2 broke things. Well, as long as he fixes it. All right. So we kind of got a basic shape basic structure for our... What are we going to call this thing? Sloth, turtle, a slurtle? No, I don't like to go too literal. We want to come up with our own kind of character creature names. Like, that's what I enjoy most coming up with, you guys, is the names as well, like the backstory and the names of the creatures. Although a slurtle, kind of cute, but it sounds a little too much like a Pokemon. A little too much like a Pokemon. I was gonna play Pokemon Go the other day, and I'm like, I need to bring that game back to life. And then I never do. Like, I think about it and I just like set it down, leave it alone. This looks like a rotten tooth. What are we doing? Well, I mean, I guess it could be rotten. Thanks everybody for being here. Of course, be sure to hit the like button. Oh, and I want to make this announcement while everybody is here. Tomorrow, don't miss out. Let me turn this down here for a second. Tomorrow, bringing back the art parties. If you don't know what that's all about, you're missing out. Let me give you a little bit of the highlights from one of our shows so you can get the gist of what it's all about. The rules are, in my hand, you can see I have a perfect, wonderful die. And we have a list of options, and kind of like Dungeons and Dragons, I'm going to roll it, and whatever number it lands on, that's what we're going to be creating. The first thing we're going to figure out is the species. All right, here we go. 3. A wizard? No, that was my favorite one.
You should have said nothing.
God.
Needs to have a beard.
Okay, a beard.
So it's a
The Vikings. They were randy little buttholes.
You know, when you're gifted, it's a shame to waste it.
Look at this.
Look at this.
Where is it?
I actually build men.
Custom orders, ladies. You want a man built? Maria can. Ooh, oh,
Actually did.
That's so cool.
Why, forgotten man?
Why?
Why?
The rules are, in my hand, you can see I have a perfect... I forgot that I had that on loop. My apologies. But yeah, we had lots of fun every time. And hey, Deranged Lunatic says, hello, pretty lady. Hello to you. And we have more Maga. Hello. Is this on another channel? We'll see it on Dreamy Tab. No, this is going to be, everything's going to be on my channel. If that's what you're asking about, the little commercial there. It's going to be on my channel tomorrow night at 8:30, having guests back on. And this time we're keeping it in the spooky vein. So like I was explaining in that little video, I have a list and we roll the die and we let fate determine what it is that we are going to draw. And so we have all kinds of fun conversations. You just never know what's going to happen. But so we're keeping it in the spooky theme of the month. So you don't know exactly what's going to happen till we roll the die. And what's really important, and I want to encourage the creatives and the attempting creatives, if you will, join us in the, what I call the art party, because we don't have a really cool name just yet, but you need to join us, right? So it's not just for people who, and when I say join us, I mean like watch along with us. And as we roll the die, I'd love for you to grab your own supplies and from wherever you're at in this world, draw or paint or sew, whatever you want to do along with us. And just give it a go. It's hard for us as creatives who do this all of the time to feel comfortable with what we do. I know I don't really like drawing on the fly, right? But I don't like creating things without a little bit of thought put into it. But it actually helps you get better. You kind of just let loose, have some fun, and give it your best shot. And a lot of times, like my creature from last time, I didn't think I could do something like this that quickly with the prompt. And this is what came out of it. Is it my best work? No, but I was actually impressed with how quickly and how detailed I could make this creature in, I think it was under 2 hours. So you should draw and sketch and watercolor, whatever you want along with us. And then I would encourage you to post it on Instagram or Twitter and tag us. We would love to see it. And you will find a very supportive and encouraging community that just wants to see other people create things and encourage you to be better at what you already do. Because we could always get better. Practice is what makes us better. And it's the means of destruction. Superhero in word form. It says, hey guys, what's going on? Well, memes, I was doing a commercial for my art show tomorrow night, where we're creating creatures on the fly. There might be a vampire, there might be a werewolf, there might be a swamp creature. You just never know. Never know. So I'm really looking forward to that. And I'll be sure to schedule that so you guys can click the notification button for it. I'll get that going soon and hope that you'll be there and hope that you'll join us. Hope that you'll join us in creativity because it's super fun. It's a great exercise. We even had the noob reviews, if you will, backstage, if you will. And she made a troll because we had to create a troll. That's what that one was. We had to create a troll and she did origami. Any kind of art form will work. She did origami and it turned out really cool. So there's no wrong way here. Hey, it's the Rookie Critic saying another creature. Woo! That's right. So we still haven't come up with a name for this creature. If it has magical abilities, I still think that the shell needs to have a different purpose other than just protection. Maybe it's not just for protection for himself. Maybe it also emanates some kind of shield to people nearby. Maybe there's a glow. Oh, let's go like old school glowworm creatures, the glowworms that they sold to kids, babies and stuff like that. Where it maybe when he feels like he's in danger, it glows and it emanates a light, and whatever is in that radius is protected by something, whatever kind of energy or whatever the case might be. A Slurtle, see, that's what I said, a Slurtle. EMP turtle, that's actually cool too. And maybe it gives off maybe it does both. I like that idea, memes, that maybe it does both. Maybe it protects and destroys whatever the mood is striking it. Maybe the shell is also another creature with a symbiotic relationship. Oh, that just sounds like warm and moist and gross, doesn't it? To have that in the shell. Oh, I don't know how many creatures I can make with a symbiotic relationship. It's just really freaky. But it's not a bad idea. Maybe it's kind of like a rhinoceros. Maybe it'll have like a bird or something on the top of it. It's rhinoceroses that do that, right? And then also don't like crocodiles. Also have little partners. Maybe I'll put a gecko. Maybe a little gecko on his shell. Wouldn't that be cool? By the way, check out the Rookie Critics channel if you want to see me and my fantastic acting skills in a short film that he short mini series or however you want to word that together. You should check it out. The Fat Speedster. I gave my best performance. 10 out of 10 would not hire me, but I did my best. And it's on the internet for the world to see. Yeah, maybe I'll put a lizard up here. I want to see what kind of design I'm going to put. So I like this idea. An EMP/shielding, like energy emitting sloth turtle. But I don't know. We've come up with like we had like Chiropanthera is what Carl is, right? You guys remember Carl. And so we kind of spliced like Latin words and cool words. We did the same thing, I think, with Keffin. I think Keffin, yes, he was an Ors de Roche. I forget what that means. Somebody in the chat suggested that, and it's French that means something, but I don't remember. So, you know, we try to come up with these cool, really cool, unique names. So a EMP sloth turtle creature. Semi-hairy, semi-not. Oh, and we also have to come up with his name. We also got to come up with it. It's no Teenage Mutant Ninja Sloth. No, he's not fast enough to be a ninja, that's for sure. This poor guy. What color would the shell be? That's a good question. I think that when it emits its powers, it should be kind of like a yellowish, very pale yellowish green. That's just something that comes to mind when I think of it. But, you know, so I think that maybe it will be kind of like blues and yellows, and then like wherever the yellows are, that's where it kind of bursts through and emits potentially. Let's see. Maybe he'll have some. No, I don't like the idea of a hairy tail. I like the idea that it kind of just turns more turtle here in the back. Kevin? Well, we already have a creature named Keffin with a PH. So EMP turtle sloth creature. EMP. What the EMP stands for what? Electromagnetic pulse, correct? Right? Am I smart enough to know that? I think that's. Now this is a big dude. Okay, so I imagine if that there's humans in the world, it's almost the size of a pony, right? So this would probably, you know, be our human dude. You know, there he is. Well, you can't really see him, but that would be the general idea. So a very large creature is what I'm aiming for. Go to the head of the class. Thank you. Thank you. I aim to please. Okay. Let's put some hair on this creature. Kind of helps make it come to life. So yeah, I actually wanted it to be a little more gorilla-like, having this kind of up here with the neck slouched over, but I'm okay with the way that this looks. He does kind of look like a sloth turtle, doesn't he? Let's see. Sloths have like these dark. I'm gonna make this really, really dark. They kind of have these patterns on their faces, right? Let's see. That kind of go backwards. I mean, obviously he doesn't have to have it exact, but you know, we draw our inspiration. What is it called? Gigantosloth. All right, we got to get away from the from like the monsters of Godzilla names. We gotta come up with something a little more elegant, Rookie. Come on. So, not so on the nose. It's a good idea though. Like if this was part of Godzilla's world, I think that would definitely be like, it's such a straightforward name that it's perfect. But I want him to have something. So we've been lately also giving these creatures kind of like almost like standard old-fashioned American guy names. So we have like Carl, Moby, variation of Kevin. What are the other guys' names? That's Dastian. Binzi, well, she's more unique. She's our first female. One day we'll do a female. And then there's Tuerto. Obviously not standard or old-fashioned American, but it's old-fashioned. He wears... You guys are so funny. He wears a mask to hide his identity. Who is that masked sloth? How about the luck dragon from Neverending Story? Falcor? I don't know. Does he look like a Falcor? Does he look like one? Something along the lines of blackout, since EMP. Ooh, EMP would take out electricity. He's also a shield kind of thing. So, blackout, noir. Let's see. What are some different languages? Maybe we should we give him a goatee? Let's see what he looks like. He looks a little more sagely this way. I don't know if we... Maybe some just little whiskers. So what are some foreign words for black or darkness? Negro is Spanish and Italian, I think. Schwarz, which I did a terrible German accent there, is German for black. Yeah, noir, exactly. French. Noir. Should we go with noir? EMP. I'm also trying to think like if his name, like it's Emp, right? Aw, a little Emp. Is that a little too on the nose? If this creature was an Emp, could we spell that differently so it's a little more creative? Emp. That's just EMP, but Emp. How would you? Ooh, okay. So this one, More Magus suggests Emp Noir, but that's a little too on the nose for me personally. But like an Emp Noir, like take out the I, Emp Noir. Dutch is Donker. Okay, I feel like that should just be his name. But what if he is an Empnar? Like, or with an A. Oh, what do you think, guys? This is Donker, the Empnar. Yes, you're right. German. Dunkel. Yeah. Oh, I kind of like it. What do you think? I want your input for this. You guys are the ones that helped me make this. An Empnar named Donker. Donker's kind of cool, but just also because it kind of has like this hulking sound to it. Yes, bingo. I like that. Okay, look at, we did it. Okay, this here is an Emp. Oops, I spelled that wrong. It's been a little while since I've cursived, which I usually write cursive every day. This is an Empnar. His name is Donker. We did it! Mrs. R2 says that she likes it. Deranged lunatic. The Donk. He is the one and only Donker. Yeah. I like it. We have an Empnar. Look at that, guys. We came up with this creature. I still haven't put a design on here. I think I would like to. R2. What are you laughing at, R2? Are you thinking bad things? That was fun, Tim. Hey, I hope you enjoyed it. You're stalking your wife. I guess that's legal. You guys are fun. Let's see. So, I'm going to have to color this, too. Kind of like what we did with Dacia. Oh, Donker. Very so cool. I like it. Hello, Spartan Flash Sentry, saying hi. Better naming than some of my creatures like, oh my goodness, Octoquadrodon or Squuff. Oh, a Squuff! Okay, immediately I think of the game Myst and there was something similar to that. It's kind of like this little little white rabbit, mouse, cricket creature. And when I think of a squuff, that sounds really cute. Empnar. Donker the Empnar. There are little rogue hairs going on up here just to... Yes, definitely gonna have to color this guy. I think these things up front, he looks like he's skiing. Now, there's not much room. Okay, so that might be on purpose. I like how this is kind of providentially just unfolding before us. There's not much room, you'll notice, for the story, right? We typically, if we go back, we have lots of room for each creature that we can fill out a story for. But I wonder if with Donker here, if there we go, it's a little bigger. I like that. I wonder with him, like, we don't actually get to know a lot about him because he is much like real sloths, which he's not a sloth, he's an Empnar. But, you know, it's not necessarily a creature that everybody gets to see, per se. Maybe they're hard to find. I don't know. How fast is Mighty Donker? Yeah, I guess he wouldn't. I mean, he's got these back legs. They look like they're pretty powerful, could get around. But I don't know. How fast would a creature with no hands, only claws like a sloth, but legs like a naked mole rat, how fast could he go? How fast could this creature go? And you know, I've kind of left his I want a pet sloth. I would name him Chewbacca. Yes. That would be awesome. Can he stand on his legs? I would think he could stand on the back ones, which would be how he could hook himself up onto things and use them to kind of crawl upwards. The Emp can act like the Mind Wipe from Men in Black, who was the masked Empnar. What? Well, I was wondering if I should put a crack in his shell if we wanted to build off the story. Should we leave Donker in pristine condition? Or should we put a crack in his shell here to maybe build a story of maybe he was damaged? You know, there was a story with one of our creatures, Moby. And that, you remember they have two sets of ears. These Pendolphines have two sets of ears. One for hearing sounds that are not there, meaning that they can sense when there is danger, if I'm not mistaken. It's been a little while since I've read Moby's story. And he is missing a tusk because he was damaged in the war. What if Empnars are among these ancient creatures that nobody really pays much attention to anymore because they're slow, they're methodical, and maybe this here's some world building possibly. Maybe this is a time in this land where there is no more war. War was a thing of the past, and these creatures that actually like maybe there was a group of creatures that protected this particular world, and now that there's no more danger in the land, right? That maybe, just maybe, they just kind of fell out by the wayside. These are creatures that maybe you would think are extinct, right? But because there's no need for them. However, there's going to come a time, if we're following some of the stories that we've created, there's going to come a time where these creatures are needed. Nobody knows where they're at. And of course, hence, that would be really cool. And so it's like, oh, but he's damaged. I don't know. What do you think of that kind of a story? That animal would definitely travel at speeds dictated by the metric systems So 1.3 kilometers per hour. Okay, good. He sets off the EMP when he gets in a tight spot, like interrogation by the police. I made that word 5 times harder than it needed to be. He only goes fast in spurts. He could run on his back legs for a short time, but with his front arms down, he doesn't go fast. That's not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea either. Oh, how funny and cute would he be waddling like on his back legs? I liked Crack. Shows that they can escape dangerous situations. Yes. If he is like a turtle, then his shell would be his backbone. That's also true. So if he had a crack in it, well, he's also a magical being. So, yeah, maybe. I like where this is going. Yeah. I didn't know it was its own world. Yes, all of these creatures are eventually going to be in their own world. They are. They've been creating them to be in their own magical world, and who knows where that's going to go. But it would be really cool for this to take place. I think so. Our main character is it's gotta be Guts and Carl. Gotta be. And then Keffin over here. I love what somebody said about Keffin one time. They used a naughty word, but it was absolutely hilarious. Called him a selfish beatard. And you wouldn't think that because he looks so cute. But yeah, he is. He is a koala weirtoad. He's a weirtoad, a stone bear. And so he is almost like the crux of the story. And if this story ever takes place and comes to fashion and ever there's a book written, you guys will have all the insight of what's going to happen before anybody else. So that would be really cool. But yeah. Okay, so I like that there would be some damage. So R2, you're right, if it would be his backbone. So I'm thinking kind of like a terrarium, well, not a terrarium, but like, I can't think of this specifically what it is, but it's almost like a glass covering over top of something soft. So so maybe there's like a hard shell over top of sensitive membrane, kind of like the skull and the brain, right? The brain is important. It is an essential part of our being, but it's protected by our cranium, our skull. And there are people who have brain damage that they have to remove a part of the skull in order for it to heal. And so the brain can actually survive without parts of the skull. It's just dangerous. So maybe that's what Donker's situation is. And maybe one reason why he has disappeared is because it's protective. Like he needs to keep his shells safe and away from danger. So, and maybe there's like some scar tissue. I don't know if shells can have scar tissue, but like maybe. I'm not good at drawing cracks like this, like broken bits and whatnot. So maybe. So usually best way to do this to get sharp edges for me is like you just take your pencil, hold it all the way at the end, and just kind of. And use that as your guide kind of thing. These edges are a little too sharp, but you could. And so there's something in there. So maybe he kind of glows. I don't know. We'll figure this out. There's something in here. So we'll just kind of color this for shadowing. The Mighty Donker. Very weird, but true. Cool beans. I like it. Yes, very weird. Well, fantasies usually are. So we'll make this look prettier and cleaner. But yeah. So get some shading over here. Yeah, so maybe there are like war creatures. There were. Maybe that's the rumors. There were war creatures. Creatures built, developed, made, evolved, however the words you want to use it. for the purpose of war. I don't want to say that they were made, but like there was a time when there were creatures that walked this land. And they had capabilities. They had capabilities for helping protect in many different ways the other creatures of this land. They were the protectors. Maybe he's kind of like a titan. You know, in Greek mythology, you have your demigods, your gods, and then there were the titans. So maybe there is a group of animals that have these amazing powers that are not very common or never heard of in the rest of the community. You know, in a way, kind of like the way that humans, we don't seem to be able to erect edifices the way we used to. You know, the pyramids of Giza, the Sphinx, and everything like this. All of these amazing designed structures. The Parthenon, the Pantheon, and we're like, how is it that they were able, with no modern technology in our terms, how were they able to create these structures, right? How are they able to discover things and invent tools and whatnot? And it's almost like they were humans. Like, well, obviously they're humans, but it's almost like they were humans built from a different substance than we are these days. You know, it seems like people just aren't quite on the same tier. And I don't mean that disrespectfully, but it's almost like these were like just ultra humans, right? And we just don't seem to quite have those kinds of people these days. And so maybe, and it's almost like they just kind of faded off. And it's not that we don't have humans like that through our society, but you don't really hear about them. And so maybe that's the same way with these creatures, is that with the advancement of this world's time, and I'm not necessarily saying technology, but you know, with the lack of war and devastation, which is a good thing, these creatures don't seem to exist anymore. And so they're not needed, and they just kind of, I don't want to say faded into the background, but they weren't needed, so they just drifted away. They walk this land, and they just kind of fade into myths and legend, kind of like the Loch Ness Monster and the Sasquatch. You know they're out there. And yeah, and so maybe our adventurers will need creatures like this again. You should think about doing audiobooks. Your voice is very soothing. Thank you. I'm always flattered when people say that. I've heard that a couple of times, and I appreciate that. Thank you. I thought that would be a neat career field to go into, reading audiobooks. But here I am, kind of, sort of, narrating the stories that I want to tell, my own stories, which hopefully eventually the stories that I have in my mind and all that are going to come to the light of day, and hopefully you guys will all read them one day. That'd be really cool, or listen to them. Now, I'm going to leave Donker's shell alone because I really want to think about the pattern that goes on his shell. I want it to be special and unique. And so I do think that one day we're going to come back and color this guy. Next week, I would love to create some of the lands that are here. I don't know if this paper can withstand the moisture of paint. That would be a lot cooler to be able to paint this landscape rather than draw. I prefer painting for that, but we'll see. I might have to do a practice run, see how that goes, because this is not, it's thick, it's pretty thick, but it's not, it doesn't have like a coating on it to keep the paint from going places, but we'll try it. I'm gonna give it a try and start creating some landscapes in here. It won't be the last time that we do creatures. Won't be the last time. But I thought it would be kind of cool. Unless you guys want me to keep on doing some creatures for a little while longer, that's okay with me as well. I don't mind. I love coming up with these creatures. Some of them are cute, some of them are ghoulish, some of them are just plain old freaking weird, but I love it. If everything goes according to plan, let's see, what does he say? More Magami says, if everything goes according to plan, that will be totally possible. Yeah. Sometimes it just kind of depends on what that plan is. But guys, I have enjoyed this immensely. This creature isn't exactly the way I thought and envisioned, but I'm not disappointed by that. I really like the way that he came out. I love the story that we've kind of created for this guy, and the name. You guys have been on fire with the names. Like that was fantastic. Memes, Rookie, all of you. That was really helpful. With that, the EMP part, I believe other people mentioned that as well. The fact that we just put that in there. I'd like to enhance this a little bit if I could. Let's see. Where's my pen? Well, I wanted to use my black pen. I seem to have that. Here we go. The imp. Since I messed that up. I know I really shouldn't be using pen because it's, again, supposed to be like a field guide. Like we went out together and discovered these creatures, but I really messed that up, so I wanted to be able to see it better. What, Elson Barry? I just got here. Please start over. Okay. Whatever you want to do is fine with us, says Deranged Lunatic. We just enjoy watching you create. I appreciate that very much. Very much. Yeah, I don't want to overdo this guy. I don't want to make him too complicated. I think it would be kind of cool if he had some scales kind of in the beginning or in the forefront of his face here. Maybe I'll put little notes. Maybe instead of, yeah, I need to write that whole Titan thing somewhere. Kind of have to be like all over the place. Let's see. I'm going to do this in pen. How about scales on the nose? I kind of want it to look messy too. I like that. And, well, okay, hang on. Before we head out, let's see. So we were talking, it has a crack, right? And his shell has a crack in his shell. Damage. Emotional damage. Okay. Let me sharpen this up and let's see if we can remember what all I said and then write it down. So I guess I need to start wherever I have space, which is kind of at the top, and work my way down, I guess. Well, we'll start here. So let's see. I'll just kind of write whatever comes into my head here. Much like the Titans of Earth, there were amazing creatures. With strange powers. Walking the land. There was a time of war. We'll add a little bit of drama to that. There was a time of war and danger. And these creatures were desperately needed to help in the fight. Okay. So, Empars. Right? Empnars. Empars. I can't even read my own. Empnars. I was like, that doesn't sound quite right. Empnars contain. How would we word this? They contain not just. I don't want it to just be just powers. That's kind of boring. Empnars contain shielding powers. Maybe like that. Shielding powers within their, oops, I spelled that wrong. Their shells. There. That can also emit I guess you would just say, like, I try to word it so that it's not so much like, us, like, oh, it's an electromagnetic pulse. But essentially, let's see, how would we word that differently? Empnars can contain shielding powers within their shells that can also emit a blast. A blast of destructive I don't want to use power again because that's so redundant, but I'm having a hard time thinking of anything. So power, or just do power. More power. Can also emit a blast of destructive power. Donker. Let's see. Can we energy canceling blast? Oh, that's great. That's perfect. See, you were here for just the right time, Elsa Barrett. Destructive. Let's see. Energy canceling. I have to reword this later. I've been redundant. Okay. Donker. Here we go. Donker. Let's build a little story for him. Yes, you did contribute. You 100% did. Logical Spock. Is there any other kind? Good evening. Okay. I was going to say Donker. Let's give him a little bit more than just he was there. Like, let's make him important. Let's see. Donker, who was the head. I don't want to say the head, but I guess I'll do that. Who was the head of the Wall Brigade. Like, he was in charge. He was in charge of making sure that there was a wall of these creatures to help keep a barrier constructed, preventing the other enemy's attacks for something particular. Let's see. The head of the wall. I don't think I spelled this right, but that's okay. Wall Brigade. Donker, who was the head of the Wall Brigade, was severely damaged. Let's have a cool name right here. Hey, rolling chairs. Better late than never, of course. We're coming up with a story for this new creature we've created that's part sloth, part turtle, and also kind of like part mole or something. We have named it Donker. He is the species of Empnars. This shell has magical abilities that provide shielding when pulsating, but it also can emit, how did Elsid say it? Destructive energy canceling blasts. That's right. So let's come up with a cool, you know how like you have the Bay of Pigs and Watergate and things like this, these cool, albeit weird names for things like that. Custer's Last Stand. Let's say Donker, who was the head of the Wall Brigade, was severely damaged during the invasion of the something. In this crazy fantasy world, the invasion of the what? What would be a cool name for that? The invasion of the muskrats. No. What would be a really cool wartime story name? Something worthy of Donker's incredible sacrifice. War, you know, you got your War of 1812 and all that kind of stuff. Donker, head of the Wall Brigade, was severely damaged during the invasion of Deep Marsh. Oh, fall of the wall. All of that's good. Well, maybe that was the fall of the wall in the Deep Marsh. Let's see. Severely damaged during the invasion of Deep Marsh. The fall of the wall. How can I combine that? During the fall? Let's see. During the invasion of the Deep Marsh. Invasion of Deep Marsh. I like that. You know, that would actually work really well with Kevin's story. This would tie some of these characters together because he kind of lives in like a swamp-like area. So maybe they were trying to protect the Weirtoads with the wall, like Rolling Chairs was saying there too. Like we had the wall titled in here, and then it could also be known among the people as the fall of the wall. That would make sense too. That could be kind of, you know how some of our creatures kind of have like almost like salacious slurs, right? And that could be kind of the thing. Like it was the invasion of the Deep Marsh, if you would ask Donker, but people just call it the fall of the wall. You know, kind of falls a little bit out of the romantic element when you say the fall of the wall, because it almost sounds like a Dr. Seuss thing. And so I like the fact that it could potentially have this interesting historical monumentous title, The Invasion of the Deep Marsh. But the people on the street, the disrespectful, no good ingrates, just call it the fall of the wall. Logical Spock says, or the fall of the cabal, which is happening. Oh. All right now. Let's see. During, what was it? The invasion. The invasion of Deep Marsh. That should just be the name of the place. Never capitalize it. Also known as the fall of the wall. You accidentally... Oops, I accidentally created a fantasy slur. I love it. Do you know this is the stuff that makes the stories more realistic? Brings in a realistic element because the cold hard facts are people, creatures, like we're mean to each other, right? We are all just comfy cozy, you know? So having species slurs and whatnot is a part of existence. There's some people and creatures that don't like each other. So it's just, that's all part of story building. We've got a tiny space here. Let's see. Also known as the fall of the wall. Let's see. So we talked about a little bit of the history of the land. Let's go. Let's why I have so many questions. but I will watch the video after the stream. Yeah, we got quite the story here. All right. Oh, let me enhance this. All right, let's read this and then finish off. Much like the Titans of Earth, there were amazing creatures with strange powers walking the land. There was a time of war and danger, and these creatures were needed to help in the fight. Empnars contain shielding powers within their shells that can also emit a destructive energy-canceling blast. Donker, who was the head of the Wall Brigade, was severely damaged during the invasion of Deep Marsh, also known as the Fall of the Wall. Donker disappeared after the war. And here's the thing, we have never actually solidified yet how the evil and everything like that, who won, right? I think even with some of the other creatures that we created, we don't really know, and I like that. We're gonna make this world together. We're gonna figure this out. All right, Donker disappeared. After the war. And what do we think he's doing? Is he just trying to heal? Is he just wandering? Is he in search of something? What do we think? Donker disappeared after the war, choosing rather to live the rest of his existence in exile? Or perhaps what's he doing out there? He disappeared after the war. Choosing, let's see, I think it'd be like choosing to live the rest of his life, choosing to live the rest of his existence in peace. No, it's a little too cliche, but essentially in peace, because he could easily be threatened with the crack that's in the shell, but I need to word that differently. Donker disappeared after the war, choosing rather to live out his existence. I don't like that he disappears. Maybe people just stop seeing him. Well, and that could be the mystery around it too. More MAGA, yeah. Donker disappeared after the war, choosing rather to live out his existence among the trees. No, he could meet and live with an elf-like people like Bilbo. Well, in this world, we have established that there really aren't any humans anymore in this world. Apparently, we gotta go back in the history books. Apparently, something bad happened to the humans. And we don't know if they're completely gone, but we know that they are not readily seen. Humans themselves are kind of like a extinct creature or rare creature in and of itself, but some of their magic, if you will, was left behind, and it's destructive. So there are creatures that have some humanoid things to them. Maybe maybe we have to create some other creatures similar to the Volans. These are not fairies, by the way. They're Volans. They get very offended if you refer to them as fairies, because those are human fairy tale jokes. They're stories that they tell children. They're not serious. Volans don't appreciate that. That's part of the lore there too. Living for those who can't, the fallen friends. Oh, yeah. Let's see. Choosing rather to live out his existence. Living. I like living. That's poetic right there. Living for those. It's also because he has to keep himself protected because of the fact that he could easily be killed for this, or he maybe, you know what, more MAGA, he might have needed to disappear because it's possible that since these creatures are not always abounding, they're not readily available, and they have this mysterious power, that maybe other bad creatures are looking for this power and trying to learn how to harness it, doing the whole experimentation thing. Guys, I've just thought of a way that we could tie in some of our other creatures. The Volans. What if we said Dustian here is the wayward pilgrim? He doesn't quite fit in with the crowd over here because he's too beautiful, he's too bright, he's too colorful. What if he knows Donker? And what if I could eventually maybe put some tree bark on this or something like that? Or maybe in a separate page we could draw that. Maybe he's friends with Dustian, and Dustian knows him, and he's put a protective layer tied. Maybe we could put some rope around him, and Dustian has created a shield for him to keep it safe. Obviously, it's a temporary thing. It won't always last. It's not as good as the real thing, but it's something. And he's friends with this creature. What do you think about that? Hey, it is Stunning and Brave Megatron, the one and the only. Always stunning, always brave. Good to see you. He seems like a tortoise. They live forever. He can remember the fallen. Yeah. I like the idea that he doesn't just wander around with this crack in here, that maybe he did. Eventually he meets Dustian. Dustian, we'll put that. I'm gonna write that down. I'm gonna write that down. It's a little less poetical written up there, but that's okay. Gets the point across. But there we have it, guys. I like it. I do get nervous. I will be honest with you. I get nervous on some of these streams sometimes because you never know who's going to pop up in the chat. You never know if people are going to contribute. And yeah, I could create these creatures and think of these stories by myself, but it's not nearly as much fun. And when it's a group effort like this, I honestly think it makes for a better and richer story. Some of this stuff I probably would never been able to think of on my own, quite possibly. I'm a very imaginative person, creative person, but again, having other people for sure definitely helps because we bounce ideas off of each other, and it's nice for sure to have other people's opinions, have our stories, have our laughs, and almost like, I don't want to say falling in love, but becoming almost like developing a relationship with these creatures and their stories, because it's not just me. You guys are helping with this as well. You are making this become much more than just a couple of lines on the paper that I draw. We're creating a backstory. We're creating emotion. And some of the creatures we're creating fun, adventure, trauma. And so that's such an awesome experience to be able to have this community that builds. And so I do want to say that as always, I'm so grateful and appreciative when you show up and help me create this world. And we've got a lot of pages to go. And I'm really, really looking forward to that. I say that every time, but I am, because this is exciting to me. I don't know about you guys, but I think it's super fun to be able to create with other people. And that's why I say come to the art parties as well. Because you might think, well, I'm not really a creative person, but you are. You show up here and you give me ideas and we create together, and not everything's perfect, but the idea is there and it's super fun. So I do want to encourage you, if you are an artist, if you're an aspiring artist, or if you don't classify yourself as an artist, but you like to doodle, tomorrow evening, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time, join me and my friends as we are going to roll the die again and just expound on our creative juices and try the best that we can and just kind of work on stuff together. It's super fun. Elsa says, "Thank you for involving us. It's cool." Absolutely. This is for you as much as it's for me. I'm drawing a Teen Titans Christmas piece for my December streams. I need to check this out. It's terrible. I say we need to support other artists, and here I am, and I haven't even checked that stuff out. Stunning and Brave Megatron, where in the world can we find you? Let me know. These streams are fun. Do you do these on certain days so I won't be late for the next one? So I am doing my best to get back in the routine of every Thursday, hanging out with you guys. Every Thursday, 9 o'clock, between 9 and 9:15, because sometimes I stream with friends on other channels. Between 9 and 9:15, every Thursday, we're creating this world. And if I'm not able to do it on a Thursday, I'll let you guys know in the community chat, so we're forewarned. Thank you for streaming. We do appreciate you're welcome. My pleasure. I do enjoy this and your creativity. But yeah, and I'm going to be looking for some more artists to join me in the art party in the next couple of months as well. It's going to be super fun. I'm going to get back also to getting YouTubers back on the channel and teaching them how to paint on Saturday mornings, God willing. That's going to be really exciting. Just trying to get back into the swing of things. If you haven't heard, I was going through some life changes and it just kind of threw everything out of schedule. But we're back. We're getting back on track now. Stunning and Brave says, well, I'll be live on my channel this Saturday doing a Titans Halloween piece. I either stream at 11 a.m. or 3 p.m. I usually tweet out when I'm going to be live when I'm going to go out. Tweet out when I'm going live beforehand. I'll have to find you on Twitter. If we are not following each other, then I need to do that. And then be able to share and shout you out as well. So artists supporting artists. Little sloth creatures. Yeah, guys. So final go over. Let's read this together. We created a really cool character here, and it's almost like they get better more and more. Oh, we got more people showing up. Hello. And Anonymous. Hello, guys. I'll tag you when I go live. Yeah, that makes it easier. Thank you. For sure. Do it that one time, and then I'll find you. So, guys, let's read through this story again. It's a little backstory, and then call it a night. Again, thank you so much for being with me this evening. And Power 800. Hello. Giving a thumbs up. Thumbs up to you. But yeah, also, by the way, if you want to look for different ways to support the channel, giving me a thumbs up is a big part of that. And then, of course, there are different links in the description box down below if you want to look for different ways to support the channel. Good night, Dan. We're going to be closing out. And if I could just find some stuff, you probably hear me clicking away. But anyway, let's read through here. Let's try to get our best voice on. Much like the Titans of Earth, there were amazing creatures with strange powers walking the land. There was a time of war and danger, and these creatures were needed to help in that fight. Empnars contain shielding powers within their shells that can also emit destructive energy-canceling blasts. Donker, who was the head of the Wall Brigade, was severely damaged during the invasion of Deep Marsh, also known as the Fall of the Wall. Donker disappeared after the war, choosing rather to live out his existence, living for others who can't. Good night, everybody. Thanks for showing up and hanging out.